Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to prime your dampers. We've got two different styles here as an example that we commonly use here. But all priming of dampers is done the same, regardless of the style. So what you're going to need is your syringe, some paper towel. I usually tear it into a couple of pieces for when I'm priming. You only really need a small piece just to sort of wipe the bottom of the damper before you put it back into the printer head. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do when pulling out your dampers is you're going to be wanting to be very careful, and you want to pull it out straight, not touching the sides of the damper. So what you do is you got the hose coming in here, and then you have a little nib on the top of your damper. So what you can do is kind of get a grip of that. Give your damper a wiggle, just a little wiggle, and then pull forward, and you'll kind of feel it dislodge itself. It'll come out of place. And then what you do is you can use your other finger even, or your other hand, and you can actually just pull that straight out. And then once you have it out, then you're ready to prime it. Again, watching the sides as you pull it out, because this here goes in and out. Okay, it kind of pops in and out. And as soon as you touch that, then it will start to leak ink out of here. It will release the ink from here. And I'll show you that in a second. So once you get your damper out, then you're going to want to grab your syringe and get your small piece of paper towel ready. And you can start off sideways. So you can start sideways and pulling. And as you can see, it's filling up the inside. And now there's still air in it from pulling it this way. As you can see, the air in the top, and we want to get rid of that. So what you do is you hold your damper completely upside down, and then you continue to pull until there's no air left in the damper. And then once you get to that point, you press back a little bit. You see how the damper breathes? I'll just do it a couple of times so it breathes almost. So what you want to do is, once you get all the air out of there, you push back just a little bit until it's bubbled out just a little. And then you carefully pull the syringe out and away, because it may squirt. Because when you push back, you're pushing air, we'll say air almost back into it. But if you push too tight, it's going to want to squirt out. So you kind of want to get just a little bubble out. Just press. I'll do it. I'll show you from here. Just pressing, almost allowing it to do it itself. Just giving it a little bit of help. And then once you get that little bit of a bulge out of there, then you pull out carefully, pull out the syringe because it could squirt. I kind of face it down towards the paper towel. And then I'll grab that small piece of paper towel, and you wipe the bottom of your damper all right inside there. Just get all in there. Again, ensuring that there's no air in the damper. If you do see air in there, again, just stop what you're doing. Put your syringe back on. Suck up a bit. Get rid of that little bit of air. And then put that little bit of a bulge back in there. And then pull your syringe out slowly again. And then wipe it. Clean the bottom. And when you're putting it back in, you're going to carefully pinch the top where the hose and the damper nub sticks out. And you're going to want to put that straight back in without touching the sides. Now this side is not so much of a concern as to this side. This is the side that bulges out. As soon as you touch there, it leaks. So you don't want to do that. So now I put a little air into it. Let me get that air out. And then we'll put a little bulge back. Pull out, wipe it clean, nice and clean, no air. it's got the bulge. And then you want to carefully put it straight back in. And once you have it lined up, you can use your other finger as guidance as you're putting it in. So you can put a little bit of pressure towards you and keep it straight. And then once you get it lined up perfectly, then you just press down and you put it into place. And then you can move on to your next damper. And now I'll show you guys the other style of damper we have. So this is just another different style, but it's got the bulge. Every damper has this bulge in it here on this one side that'll bulge out. Again, you can hold it sideways at first, but it will not take all that air out. So in order to get all of the air out, so if you hold it sideways, you're leaving half the air in, and then when you put it back in, half of your damper's empty. So what you need to do is hold it upside down completely to get that air out. And then once all that air is gone, push back a little bit and give it that little bit of a bulge. Just a little bit of a bulge, almost allowing it to just kind of press down itself, and you're just giving it a little bit of a push. And then it bulges out just a little bit. And again, bringing it down. Pulling out the syringe slowly, you'll get a bit of a drip. Grab a small piece of paper towel, wipe and clean the bottom of the damper before you put it back into your head. And again, watching the sides when you're putting it back, nice and straight. And then when you get it over it, you press straight down on it and get that into place. Now sometimes when you're putting it back, if you do get a drip inside, so if you do put it back and for some reason you do hit the side and it drips down, just grab your foam tip. Grab your foam tip. Rinse it out. Rinse your distilled water out. So rinse it right out. Collect the ink that's spilled in there. Collect that first. And you may have to do this more than once. So collect what you can, rinse off, repeat. Until all that ink's gone. Once you have the ink cleaned up, then what you do is you rinse this off. Make sure that your foam tip is rinsed right off completely. Grab some moisturizer, very little. Just put a little bit inside. Give it a little bit of a squeeze. You don't want it soaking. You just want it damp, a little bit damp with moisturizer, and then just kind of spin the foam tip inside there where the little nub sticks out, and just sort of moisturize around inside there after it's cleaned, so that when you put your damper back in, it's nice and moisturized and everything's smooth and there's no leftover ink to dry up. And then you put your damper in place and you're good. So when I'm doing the colored dampers, after I discard or I recycle it back into the container, before I move to the next color, I just get a little small cup or something, fill it up with water, and rinse it out. Kind of suck up, spit, suck, spit. Then I'll suck up, and then I'll suck some air as well, just to give it a little shake. And then I'll squirt the rest of it out. And that's it. And then you move on to your next damper.